All right, Mr. Bradley, we're gonna get started and we're gonna start with your check-in. So from 1 to 5, what's your check-in?
I'd say 4.
Oh, 4. You feeling okay?
Pretty good. Yeah, looking forward to the future. Looking forward to today's performance after school.
Okay.
Um, a little apprehensive, but I'm pretty sure it'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
Get him up there making some sounds.
Yeah, it's really fine. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we're gonna jump into our planning section. So I wanted to start off by saying, the last time we met, we set a goal for you to A, go on your observations to see Mr. Campana, B, to start giving directions in the hallway to some classes, and C, to still implement your 100% in the classroom. So you met your goal you went to go see Mr. Campana.
Right.
B, I did see you give directions to one class in the hallway this week.
Yeah, I haven't been consistent.
Right. I was gonna say I did see one class in the hallway this week. And when I came in here for pop-in observation, I didn't necessarily observe you getting 100%. But how was that working out for that?
It varies based on the class.
Yeah, I was gonna say the class.
Pretty heavily. So but I'm definitely trying. I'm trying different things. The clapping usually seems to work pretty well. And then there's always kids that act out while we're doing that. So getting the kickboard out usually helps. Usually helps bringing that up and entering. And like I said before, doing the positive framing of the kickboard helps a lot too, because I'll put in negative stuff afterwards, but I'm trying to focus on the positive stuff so that everybody has a more positive experience, especially the kids that are not misbehaving, because and just rewarding the ones that are doing the right things. That seems to be helping, and then certain classes have gotten, I've really started to develop a good rapport with them. Like 5B, I feel like we're starting to get a pretty good rapport, although there's some immaturity there.
Yeah, it's 5th grade. Yeah.
But at least they have an understanding of I'm in charge, and they respect me for the most part.
Okay. I was glad you came to the meeting with Julian tomorrow, because he went. I need to call her too, because he went and said all these things that happened, and Mom definitely wasn't aware of what he was doing. So I'm glad you were able to make some clarity there.
And he'll occasionally just crawl on the floor.
Yeah.
He's very
he's very immature with that. Yes.
So hopefully, we can see some improvement there.
Okay. So my question is, going back to, before we do that, so tell me, what did you, and I'm going to take notes here, what did you observe from your observation with Mr. Campana?
So I wrote down almost everything he said. So it was he was returning because he had been out for a sick child, and then there was a sub. He came back, and it was a total disaster, and he told them that. When he came back on Tuesday, the classroom was a total disaster. The amount of stuff broken in the wrong places, put away the wrong way, not good. I know there were also other classes, so I'm not only talking to 4th grade. So he really let him have it and was like, it was not good. You guys need to do better. What are some things that you think the substitute felt after he left your class? And they said sad, angry, tired, So getting them to really think about what they did and how it affected the substitute and how it affected Mr. Campana as well. So I noticed on his board he made reference to the talking level several times, and that he changed whatever it was, the magnet thing, to where the talking level should have been.
So setting those expectations.
And it seemed to be clear to everybody what the expectation was at the time. And then, so like he changed it at one point. He said, look, you guys are getting too loud. I'm moving it to 0 because you are too loud and you don't seem to know how to do this without getting loud. So I'm putting it at 0. We'll do that for a couple minutes. Then we can move it back up, you know. And so he did that, and then, that was good.
What did you notice about how he handled the behaviors in his class?
He actually had to sit with one of the tables at the very end because it was a table that was just ridiculous. And I have troubles with those particular students as well. It just happens that they were grouped together. A couple of the ones that are over the top were grouped together in that particular group. So he was talking about he was going to make some adjustments. And even while he was having a serious talk with them, they were being silly. So he was like talking about escalating. He also, during the middle of the period, he pulled Tony and Israel out, who were part of that same group, actually, and had a conference with them while the other kids were working. Conference with them and just said, you know, it sounds to me like there were words between you guys. And then that's most of what I heard of that conversation. So,
how did he use Kickboard? How did he implement Kickboard in his class?
I think he uses his iPad for that, like he's walking around.
So was he, like, how did he interact with it? How was he giving out points?
He actually was giving rewards that day. So he gave out candy and certificates to, I think, a couple kids like Ricardo. Not sure who else, but he was, so that was most of what he was doing. I'm pretty sure he was doing stuff that I wasn't seeing on the iPad with the Kickboard, so,
Okay. So from that observation, what do you think you see that you can implement in your classroom as a next step?
So, one thing that I want to get to, and you know, of course, music is different. The main issue that I have for implementing some of this stuff is that a lot of what I like to accomplish, you know, as far as meeting our goals and standards and stuff, it is all classroom stuff. It is stuff that we all do together because they're like starting at such a low level musically that I kind of feel like they need so much guidance. But I will say that if I can get them to a point where they can function without me right over them.
So a level of independence.
Yeah, a level. I want to develop a level of independence in them, and I think certain classes have that already. I probably could start to take the reins out a little bit off of level of third grade, and have them break up into and do things individually.
And make sure and in third grade you have a classroom aide, so make sure you're giving your classroom aide during that time something to do during that time. Use that person to be another eyes in your classroom, to do a small group or whatever. Ms. B, can you work with this group while I work with this group for that? So that the kids see her as a team member in your class as well. Too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When we have Miss Dorian, when you have Miss Torres in the classroom with kindergarten as well too. If you have Miss Guzman in 6th grade at any time, Miss Sotello doing music, you know, make sure you're using that person so they can see that they are a team member in your class as well too for that. So for that. So when it comes to like on the behavior level, what did you take away from Mr. Campani that you can say, all right, I can use this in my classroom?
I definitely want to do something with the voice level to make it more interactive. So like, I don't know if that's magnetic or what, but finding a way to have something where I can actually move it
So what you
during
can
the
do,
class.
so what you can do is, you can put
I could
the
do it
voice
over
levels
there,
on the
maybe.
board, and then just, the dollar store magnets, and you just move the magnet down,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, that's what he was doing.
So, yeah, you just move the magnet down
Right.
for that. But I think more importantly, what I'm trying to get at about is that he had the voice level. What did he do
Instructionally.
to make sure that kids were adhering to the voice level?
So he said, 4th grade, check your voices. And did the clapping thing. If you're talking more than you're drawing, then you need to fix that. This is the last time, and then we're gonna need to go to 0.
Okay.
So he basically made an ultimatum, and then the next thing he said was, I'm setting it to 0.
Okay, so before he gave the ultimatum, how did he explain to the class what voice level they would be on?
Well, I think they kind of already knew it because it was
So
on
what do
the
you
board.
think he had done already?
He had set the groundwork for
He
that.
has set the groundwork, yes. So how are you gonna set the groundwork when it comes to the voice level? Yes?
Are you upstairs?
Yes, I'm meeting with Mr. Bradley.
Yep. When you get a chance, can you get some? Never mind. I'll have them call down here. Do you know where 8th grade is?
8th grade is in Miss Adams' classroom.
Thank you.
So yes, he had already taught the voice level
Right.
and set the expectations for them. So with you for music, how do you think you can adapt that to your class with
Well,
music?
I think, I think having something that I can quickly and easily access, on the board where I can either point to it or move the thing while I'm talking, can help them to fix their attention to it. And just let them know that's tied to some kind of system of rewards, like whether it's kickboard.
And so, but before then, just think about when I think about expectations in the classroom, I'm thinking about when you're teaching expectations. My question is, when will students be at a voice level 0? When will students at voice level 1? When will they be at a voice level 2? So teaching
That's
each.
something that I'm gonna have
Yes,
to
teaching
figure
each.
out.
Right.
Yeah.
So, looking at when the students
like lately
are at these different voice levels.
Yeah, like for example, we've been doing a lot of drum circle lately, so I would say when it's time to pass the drums, we should be at a 0.
There you go. There we go. So that's setting the expectations. Yes.
Because it's a trigger for me as far as, because I feel like they should know that,
And
although
then-
I hadn't necessarily explicitly.
And when you say, all right, and we're gonna just practice this really quickly. So when you say, all right, this is our voice level chart. Level 0 is silent, level 1 is whisper, level 2 is talk only in your group. We should never make it to a level 3 in here ever, because
that's why when it fell off, I didn't even put it on. I didn't even put it back.
because we're inside. This is what our expectation of, and this needs to happen at the beginning of class.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing today. So you're going over what you're going to be doing today.
Or maybe in my
each-
class, level 3 would be singing as a group.
Level 3 would be
'Cause
singing as a group.
I do want
Absolutely.
them to be a little bit
And
loud.
you could definitely
Yeah.
make that, and then so making sure you're going over what the structure of your class look like when they
Yeah.
come in. What is the voice level when they come in? So you have to explicitly teach all of this.
Yeah.
So what is the voice level when they come in?
It should be 0.
So you need to teach that as well.
Yeah.
What is the voice level when they are playing instruments?
Should be 0 as well.
What are the voice levels? What is the voice level when we are passing instruments?
That's also 0.
Oh my answer, Ms. Kamarje. So these are the questions that you know are needing to make sure you know. What are the voice levels when we are passing instruments? It's 0. What are the voice level when we enter in the classroom? It is 0. What is the voice level when we are having a group discussion?
Well, it should be 0 unless you're the person raising your hands. You know what I mean? But I don't know how.
Right. So these are all the things that you need to
Yeah.
address when they come in, and it all goes
Yeah.
back to what are you planning for that day. So
Yeah.
if you are, what is the voice level when I'm instructing?
Mhm.
It's voice level 0 for that. And then you need to say, if you are not at voice level 0, this is what happens. If we're passing instruments and
Yeah.
you're not at voice level 0, you're not listening, we will try it again one time. And then after that, we will not be able to have the instruments.
Right.
So you need to put expectations in place for what happens when
Yeah.
with that. What happens when? So as a next step or action step, what do you think you can implement with your classes this afternoon? I mean, because you have the voice level chart there, so it's not like
Yeah.
you don't, you know.
Yeah, I can definitely make reference to it, and like you said, I can even ask them what they think the voice level should be for each one. Hopefully they'll answer correctly. But it seems like they should be able to figure that out. The kids that are raising their hands should probably be the ones that give the right answers.
Okay, so who do you have this afternoon at 1 o'clock?
That would be 7.
Oh, great. That's a great class to start with. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh.
Yeah.
So when you give them instructions in the hallway, what are you going to say?
So today we're doing drum circle. Let's we're at voice level 0 while we move our chairs into a circle. I do want to emphasize safety because you know
So go and that's
whenever people are moving chairs, there's always the possibility of injury.
so and that's part of your directions that you're
Yeah.
giving out there. So you would just like you said, when they line up in the hallway, you step to the side so they can see you. Today we are going to do drum circle. We are going to be at a level 0 while we are moving our chairs into the circle. When we get into the classroom, I will count down because you give them a countdown. I will count down to 1 from 10. You will safely move your chairs into the circle.
Yeah.
So you give them the expectation
Yeah.
for that. So you tell them the voice level. You tell them what you want them to do and how you want them to do it. And and that's so simple. So you're just simply saying, and you already started. Today we're doing drum circle. When we're going to be at a voice level 0, first one. You already know that. When we move our chairs, we want to move them safely. When we enter the classroom, you will have how many seconds?
15, 20 seconds.
20 seconds to move your chairs into the circle safely.
Yeah.
If this does not happen, we will not be able to do drum circle today, and we will have to do packets in the story. I want you to practice that. Practice those 3 instructions and say it explicitly to 7th grade when they're out there in the hallway today. So what are you going to say?
Okay. Welcome 7th grade. At this time, we are going to stay at level 0. Our voices are at level 0. While we enter, we're going to put our chairs into a circle safely. And while you have, I'm going to say 10 seconds to do that. What was the other thing?
What happens if they don't do that?
That's a good question. What do you think?
So if you are unable to complete these expectations, what's the first thing that can happen? We won't play the instruments. And then you will work on a music packet about drums.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Okay.
And then repeat it multiple times, builds that muscle memory so that they know. So muscle memory, repeat it multiple times. Check for understanding. Check the ones that, Jonathan, what did I say we're gonna do? Jawan, check your high flyers. You won't have Marquise because he's with me. So
Okay.
check your high flyers. Jonathan, what I say we're gonna do?
Right.
Jawan, what did I say we're gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Are we clear about expectation? And keep it concise. Don't use a lot of words. Keep
Right.
it concise.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it concise. Today, we're gonna have drum circles.
Right.
When we are in our drum circles, it is level 0. State the expectations, what you want. You will have 10 seconds to come into the classroom and move your chairs into the drum circle at
Safely.
level 0 safely.
Right.
What does that look like? That means you are holding your chair and carrying it to the circle.
Not over your head.
Not over your head, so you have to make sure you're
Yeah.
saying all this stuff they know. You are carrying your chair to the circle. Short sentence. Carry your chair to the circle. Carry your chair to the circle.
Yeah.
Short sentence with that. Once you get in the circle, we are at level 0. If you are not able to adhere to these expectations, we will take our chairs to our desk and we will have a packet about music, about drums. Flat out. Simple with that.
Right. Okay.
So those are directions that you're going to give to 7th grade today, just around giving expectations around that. I know you love the positive. If you are able to follow these directions, if
Right.
you are able to do these without any hassle or me redirecting you, the class will get 10 kickboard points
Okay.
for excellence.
Okay.
And they're going to be on that.
Okay.
So you have your positive, but you also have your what if this doesn't happen.
Okay.
So, and let them know, like, 10 kickboard points for the class is in the air. All you have to do is come in silently, put your chairs in the circle safely at level 0, get ready for drum circle. You can even say it like that. You don't even have to say everything I just said.
Yeah.
Level 0, chairs in the circle for drum circle. Safely carrying it to the circle. If you don't do this, you won't get this. If you do this, this is what I have for that. And then I think the other thing you need to do is figure out how you can do your own kickboard celebrations in here.
Yeah. Okay.
So you need to think about
Probably
that. 'Cause,
some candy would be a good.
I mean, anything,
incentive.
coloring time, computer time
Yeah.
with them, you know.
So how do they? No, computers. That's a good question because
They
I've
can
never
bring them from
used-
their class, or I think you all share with the SPED team. You could use if the card is in their office, in their
Oh,
SPED
okay.
room. So, and what I know what Ms. Tarka used to do and what used to do is that she had like a point system on the board. If you got so many points during the class, you earned so many. Oh, you earned a lunch party with Mr. Bradley, or you earned a breakfast party with Mr. Bradley, or things like that, so that they are, and it helps them build a relationship with you as well too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
No.
So we can just, but we have to check with the cart, like with the other teachers. To
Right,
see if they're
right.
using it. Okay.
Yeah, you just check with the teacher to see if they're using it.
The MAPS teachers.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so before we wrap up, just to recap, what are your action steps going to be for today at 1 o'clock with 7th grade?
So we're gonna go over the expectations before they enter.
Mm-hmm.
Explicitly tell them exactly what we're doing
Mm-hmm.
and how we're doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and what the consequences either way would be.
Okay.
Um,
So you got to do the consequences and the reward for the
And the reward, yeah.
So you got to be ready to implement your consequence if it doesn't happen.
yeah.
So I'm gonna end it so you can have some time. So you got to be ready to say, here are the packets.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
you got to be ready to say, and it's for a grade.
Right.
So you got to be ready with those in your hand
Right.
to say, this is what we're gonna do if this doesn't happen. So you got to be ready with your consequence with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good.